We hear straight from the Vatican this morning about how the Catholic Church is preparing to elect the next pope. Good morning, I'm Jeanette Newman. Welcome to the News Hub today, Tuesday, March 5th. We have a great show for you today. We're also going to hear about a troubling trend in New York City shelters. Also, debt held by young people. Do you think it's going up or going down? We will give you the answer and the analysis. First, we turn to the Vatican. In a news conference that ended a short time ago, the Vatican announced it is awaiting the arrival of 5 cardinals before the conclave to select a new pope will begin. We have Father Thomas Rosica, the Vatican spokesperson during this time of transition, on the phone from Italy to explain the Church's next steps. Father Rosica, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. I've just come upstairs after the press conference downstairs. We had a full complement of journalists from all over the world with us, and things are in motion.
And you're waiting then for five cardinals to begin the conclave. Can you just walk us through what the next steps are going to be?
Sure. The 5 yet to come have already let us know when they'll be arriving. They'll be arriving today or tomorrow. The Sistine Chapel was closed just at noon today to tourists, and the construction will begin in a few hours to prepare the Sistine Chapel for the election.
And now we have several key dates in the Catholic calendar. Of course, Easter is just a few weeks away. Do those important dates, does that speed up at all the conclave's time frame?
I don't think it speeds up at all. Things are moving on a normal course. There's a lot of excitement on the part of journalists when they would like the conclave to take place. And people are informing me when it should take place, and it must take place by these particular dates. But I have to say that the cardinals are in a really meditative, contemplative mood. They spent yesterday and today meeting together. They're going to have off this afternoon, thank God, and tomorrow so they can reflect it. But in fact, tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, they're going to gather in prayer. There's going to be a public prayer in St. Peter's Basilica at the altar of the chair. And it's an invitation to the whole church to join them in this really critical reflection period. They'll vote on when the conclave will happen, probably tomorrow or the next day, and we'll certainly make that known to you and to the rest of the world.
Thank you. And have you spoken with Pope Emeritus Benedict? What is he doing and how is he doing?
I personally have not spoken to him, but as we announced earlier this week, he's at Castel Gandolfo. He's enjoying his retirement. It's a very peaceful, prayerful time. He's gone for some walks in the gardens. He's walked around the Apostolic Palace that's there. He's just enjoying himself. It's a well-deserved rest after a great period of service to the world and to the Church.
And congregations in places like Latin America, the Philippines are making up an increasingly large portion of the 1.2 billion Catholics around the world. Is there any thought in terms of the selection of a pope to expand I guess the Church's global reach?
The Church has a global reach already. It's the most global institution that exists. And it's important to remember that the cardinals do not elect countries or regions. They elect a person who they would believe to be most able to do the job. And so whether the person comes from Europe or Asia or Africa or North America, South America, that's really not the purpose. This is not like people bidding for a particular, like people bid for the Olympic Games or something and they want to feature that particular part of the world. The key is that the cardinals want to elect a holy person who's capable of fulfilling the requirements and the huge obligations necessary for the office.
Now, the sexual abuse scandal has continued to disrupt the Church. How should the next pope deal with that issue?
It has to be very high on the priorities. This is not just an issue from North America, but this is an issue affecting the whole world. So it's, I think it's very high on the priority list, and I'm not concerned that the cardinals are not paying attention. That they certainly are. They're very aware, but they're also aware that the Roman Catholic Church in many parts of the world has been the first institution to address the issue head-on, to institute protocols. And I think eventually people are going to be very grateful for the Church for what it's done in addressing this issue. As we said several times, and as cardinals have spoken quite eloquently, had it not been for the Church to address this, so much of the abuse that takes place in families and other institutions may not have ever been known about.
And will the ability of the next pope to deal with that issue of sexual abuse, will that be part of the selection process, meaning keeping in mind the ability of the person to tackle that issue?
Oh, I'm sure that cardinals are looking at each other, and the language that we use sometimes in North America about best practices. I think people are looking around to see who are those cardinals that dealt with this issue, who dealt with it right on, head on, and who didn't hesitate, and certainly that could be part of the mix.
Father Rosica in the Vatican, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.